Hi, I'm Heidi from Nonprofit Megaphone. In this video, I'm going to go through the process of setting up basic conversion tracking for your Google Ad Grant account. To have the most flexibility possible, we recommend setting up your conversion tracking with a combination of Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics. First and foremost, you'll want to make sure that Google Tag Manager is installed on your website. How you accomplish this can vary depending on what platform you've used to build your site. So we recommend doing a quick search to find compatible instructions. Once Google Tag Manager is installed, you can use it to add the Google Analytics tag as well. To make setting up future event tracking as seamless as possible, create a constant that can reference back to your measurement ID each time you set up a tag for a new event. At this point, it's important to identify which conversion actions you consider a priority to track on your website. These could be things like people filling out a form to contact your organization, downloading resources, or clicking out to partner websites or social media. For the purpose of today's video, we'll go through what it might look like when users click on a button to navigate out to a LinkedIn page. I'm just going to cover the basics here, but if you're new to Google Tag Manager, there are a ton of great free resources out there to learn it more in depth. First, we need to set up the trigger for our action. We'll click on New while we're in the Triggers section, and we want to name our trigger with something that easily defines what it's tracking. In this case, I'm going to say that it is a button click for LinkedIn. For trigger configuration, we will say just links because this is a link click, and then we want to define what the link click will be. So I will click on some link clicks, and then I will define that variable as a click URL contains, and I want to grab the link from the website. So I'll just copy that link address and then paste it into Google Tag Manager. From here, we can save our trigger. Next, we need to set up the tag and connect it to that trigger we just created. So I will click to create a new tag. I'm going to use the same name so that I know exactly what trigger it is connected to. We'll click on Tag Configuration and choose Google Analytics, Google Analytics GA4 event. Here I can add in that GA4 constant, and then I will define an event name that will be used in Google Analytics 4. If you'd like to further define the event or add any advanced parameters to it at this point, you can do so. Next, we'll attach this tag to the trigger by clicking on Triggering and then finding and selecting our tag here. At this point, we're good to save it. Now we'll test the action to make sure that it's working as intended. We can do this by entering the preview mode and clicking on the LinkedIn button. To enter the preview mode, click on Preview. Enter your website's URL in the box and then click Connect. Now, using the debugger here on the left, I can go down to that button on the website and click on it. And here I can see that a link click fired and it was attached to our button click LinkedIn that we just set up. So we know that it is working properly. We can exit the preview mode, and now you are free to publish your container by hitting Submit. Next up, we want to add this key event in Google Analytics 4. I'll open up my account and navigate to the Events section by clicking on Admin and Events. We will click to create a new event, and we will mark it as a key event. In the event name section, we want to use the same event name that we entered in Google Tag Manager. So in this case, button click LinkedIn. If you are only using Google Analytics 4 to define event tracking, then this is where you can do that, and you can select Create Without Code. If you are using Google Tag Manager, then you will select Create with Code because you don't need to define the event within Google Analytics 4 because it's already been defined in Google Tag Manager. You're also welcome to set up a specific key event value here if that is something you would like to define, and choose the counting method. So whether you want this to count once per every time the event happens or once per session of the user. Once you've finished creating that event, you can click Create. Now that we've defined our event, we want to link our Google Analytics account to Google Ads. You can do that by going back to Admin, clicking on Google Ads Links, clicking on the Link button, choose Google Ads account, and selecting the account you want to link. Then click Confirm. Go through all of the settings and define them as you would like, and then click Submit. You'll now see that the link between your Google Analytics 4 and your Google Ad Grant account has been created. Now you can navigate to your Google Ad Grant account, click to the Goals section, and then Summary. From here, we will click to create a conversion action. Click to add your website's URL and paste that into the field, then click Scan. From here, you'll be able to see any Google tags that are detected on your site. In this case, since we used Google Analytics 4 to set up our event tracking, I'm going to select that one and click Done. Now we can save and continue. To make things easy, I'm going to click on this dropdown, select the Nonprofit Megaphone GA4 property. This will show any new conversions that are not yet imported to the account. I'll select the button click LinkedIn, and then I'm going to add it to a category that best matches what it's tracking. In this case, an outbound click. Then I'll click Select Events. From here, you can further edit the settings. We always like to rename everything to make it look easier to read. You can also define the value here if you'd like to do that at this level, and change the count. Once you're done editing the settings, feel free to click Done. If you need to add more conversions, you can continue to do that at this point, or you can click Save and Continue. Your conversions should be all added to your account now, and you can click Finish. Now, if you go back to your conversions list, we can click on View All Conversion Actions, and you should see your new conversion tracking here. Give it about 24 hours to start collecting data, and hopefully you start seeing your priority conversions getting hits sooner rather than later.